75,000 people started calling Kansas City home for the first time last year. And you know what? Most of them had no idea what they were walking into, a market that's split right down the middle. That's what you've heard. The Kansas City housing market is splitting in two, and today I'm breaking it all down for you. In one market, homes disappear in under 30 days with more than one offer. In the other, price cuts and 50-day listings are becoming normal. Hey guys, it's Kelsea, and I study this market every single day. In this video, I'll show you where you fit, what that means for your next move, and how this split could shape your plans for 2026. At first, a $50,000 gap between two data sources sounds like a small thing, but it's actually a major split happening in real time. Let me show you what's actually happening with real data from October 2025. Kansas City's median home price hit $290,000 last month. That's a 7.4% jump from last year, according to Redfin. Sounds strong, right? Here's where it gets interesting though. Zillow says the typical home value here in the city is $242,550. That's only up 1.2% from last year. And that tells you a lot. The suburbs are growing way faster than the city neighborhoods. The metro keeps climbing while the core falls behind. This is a real split in how different parts of the same city are moving, and it keeps getting wider every month. Take Johnson County, Kansas. It hit a median of $465,000, up 6% year over year. Lee Summit, Missouri saw prices jump 14.2% to $425,000. Meanwhile, Northeast Kansas City barely moved, up just 1.2% to $175,000. Two markets, same metro, totally different stories. And these price differences directly shape how fast homes actually sell, which is exactly where we're headed next. Picture two homes hitting the market the same week. One gets 3 offers in 26 days. The other sits empty for 50. Same city, totally different realities. Now, let me show you where this split becomes really clear. The average home in Kansas City sits on the market for 33 days. That's a little faster than last year's 37 days, but the metro-wide averages really hide what's going on underneath the surface. Starter homes in the Kansas part are moving in 26 days. Homes priced below the median still get more than one bid and sell fast, but once you move into the higher price points, everything changes. Homes over $500,000 sit for 50 days before they get an offer. New construction in the outer suburbs takes even longer. These are homes that would have had offers within a week 2 years ago. Now they sit empty for almost 2 months. So what does that tell you? Starter homes are still competitive. Buyers at the entry level are fighting for inventory. There isn't enough supply and what's available moves right away, but those higher price points have cooled off a lot, and the buyer and seller strategies I'm breaking down later will show you how to use the speed difference to your advantage, whether you're competing or negotiating. Buyers with bigger budgets have time to look around, make offers, and walk away if the price doesn't feel right. The rush is gone. Here's what that looks like in real time. If you're selling a $300,000 home in a solid neighborhood, you'll probably get offers within a month. If you're selling a $550,000 home or a new build in Olathe, you'll need patience and a price that matches the market. Knowing these timelines helps you set real expectations instead of wondering why your listing isn't moving. Speed depends on price point, and that takes us right into the supply shortage that's driving this whole situation. Inventory is up across the metro, but starter home buyers are still fighting over small options, while luxury buyers look through more and more choices. So how does that make sense? Supply is what's driving this whole split. Overall inventory in Kansas City went up 10% from last year. We now have about 8,700 homes for sale across the metro. That sounds like progress, and it is, but we're still about 21% below where we were before the pandemic. Here's the catch. That growth isn't spread evenly. Homes below the median are still really tight, and the investor pullback I'm talking about next is changing who's competing against you in these prices. There's still a shortage of starter homes, and that's why those homes move so fast and why buyers in the range face the most competition. Meanwhile, new construction inventory is growing in the outer suburbs. Johnson County suburbs like Overland Park, Olathe, and Spring Hill are seeing builders add more homes. That's why higher-priced homes sit longer. Buyers simply have more to pick from. Dr. Stan Longhofer from Wichita State University said active listings are still below pre-pandemic levels. He shared this at the Kansas City Home Builders Association 2025 Economic Forecast Breakfast. So it shapes how you should structure your offer or your pricing. The pressure on starter homes isn't going away. Buyers looking for homes under $300,000 are still dealing with low supply. That keeps prices steady and days on market low. But if you're shopping above the median or looking at new construction, you're stepping into a market with more homes and more room to negotiate. The supply imbalance shapes your negotiating power, and it shifts fast depending on where investors are active. Institutional buyers used to buy 1 out of every 8 Kansas City homes with cash. Now they're pulling back, and that's quietly changing who wins bidding wars. Let's talk about a shift that's quietly shaping the whole market though. Institutional investor purchases in the Missouri part dropped about 13% from last year, according to Axios reporting from July 2025. In the Kansas City metro, investor purchases fell 12.3% of sales in Q1 2024 to 11.2% in Q1 2025. That's a 9% drop. You might think that doesn't sound all that big, but when you're trying to buy a home and 1 out of every 8 buyers used to be an investor with cash ready to go, everything feels different. Fewer investors means fewer all-cash offers. Keep this in mind because in a few minutes, I'll show you how to set up your financing to compete with the cash buyers who are still out there. But this also means less bidding pressure, especially on mid-tier homes where investors were most active. First-time buyers and regular families using normal loans now have a slightly better chance. Even with the pullback, Kansas City still saw over 39% of home sales in the first half of 2025 done in all cash. That's the third highest rate in the country, behind Miami and San Antonio. But that number also includes retirees who are downsizing and other cash buyers who aren't investors. It's still lower than it was at the peak in 2023. At the same time, FHA loans went up last year in Missouri. That shows more first-time buyers are getting into this market as investor activity slows down. The investor pullback shows that big buyers have cooler expectations for short-term returns in Missouri and Kansas. With investors stepping back, regular buyers get a slightly more balanced market, especially in those mid-tier prices where competition used to be the worst. This shift opens doors for owner-occupants that didn't exist 2 years ago, and it directly shapes the strategies you need, depending on where you fit in this market split. Now that you know these two markets exist, here's how you can win in the one you're in. Let's break this down segment by segment so you know exactly where you stand. If you're buying below the median, expect competition. Homes in this range still move fast. You need pre-approvals, you must act quickly, and you have to be ready to make your best offer right away. This is still a seller's market at the entry level. If you're buying above the median or looking at new construction, you've got more room to negotiate. And the 3 economic factors we're talking about next will show you when this negotiating power might disappear, so timing matters more than you think. Take your time, do your homework. Don't feel pressure to overpay because you think someone else is right behind you. The market has shifted in your favor. Now, if you're selling below the median, the market is still strong. Price it right, present it well, and you'll likely see offers within 33 days. This is your window to sell with confidence. If you're selling above the median, pricing and presentation matter more than ever right now. Overpricing leads to 50-day listings and pricing cuts later. In September 2025, sellers got about 96.9% of their original list price, which is lower than in past years. That shows more buyer negotiating power, especially in the upper price ranges. The days of automatic multiple offers are gone in the higher end segments. But if you price smart and market well, you can still get strong offers. You just need patience and real expectations. And you know what I always tell my clients? Know their segment. The Kansas City market isn't one story anymore, it's 2. And your strategy depends on which side of the split you're on. Success comes from matching your approach to your price point instead of following advice that doesn't fit your situation. Whether the split grows or shrinks depends on several economic factors we need to watch closely. Before anything else, I know it's a lot of information to take in at once, so if you have any questions, and I mean any questions, feel free to reach out to me. You'll find all my contact info in the box below, and if you don't want to miss any updates about the Kansas City market, make sure you subscribe. I'm always posting videos that help you make smarter choices here. Now, let's talk a little bit about the future. So a few things will determine whether this split gets wider or it starts to close in the coming months. Mortgage rates are still hovering around 6% as of mid-November 2025. That's down from earlier peaks, but still pretty high compared to where we were. If rates drop in 2026, the gap might narrow as more buyers can afford homes across different segments. But if rates stay high, move-up buyers stay stuck in their current homes and the split keeps going. Inventory matters too, though. If we keep seeing inventory growth, especially in starter home segments, that could ease competition for below median homes. But new construction is still focused on outer suburbs, which will probably keep reinforcing these geographic price differences. Kansas City's economy is strong. The labor force is growing at a 4.4% pace through August 2025, way faster than the national 3.1% rate. Jobs are coming back in leisure, manufacturing, and transportation. Major projects like the Panasonic plant are bringing more jobs and driving housing demand. Most experts think that home prices around here will go up 3 to 6% each year in 2025 and 26. The Wichita State University forecast projects 5.6% growth in 2025. But that metro-wide number hides what's really happening. Suburban markets, especially in Johnson County, Kansas, and Lee Summit, Missouri, will probably see stronger growth. Urban core growth, still slow. So if inventory goes up or rates come down, this split could close. But right now, it's getting wider, and that means your strategy needs to match your reality of your specific segment. Watch these 3 factors closely because they'll determine whether you're stepping into a narrowing opportunity or a widening divide. The 2-market reality isn't going anywhere in 2026. Your biggest advantage right now is knowing which side you're on and acting smartly. If you want a simple breakdown of what homes in your price range are really selling for and how fast they're moving in the neighborhoods you care about, email me at Kelsea@lakewoodhomesandland.com. I'll send you the current data for your price point so you can move with confidence before the split gets even wider. And this is something you should see. With 14 counties and more than 100 cities spread across Kansas and Missouri, picking the wrong KC suburb can cost you real money. Watch the video I linked right here because these price gaps won't stay the same forever. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.